Okay. So
Yeah.
I've done this once before where I started the show, streaming it on Alpha Geek Radio, recording just fine, and didn't start the video.
Oh, no.
So this is another plea from me to you, Roger, and whoever else is on, to make sure you see that live thing going before we actually start the show in the future.
Crap.
But for those of you watching on video, I want to quickly cover the bits that you missed. So Scott, if you don't mind, we're just going to go through the headlines up to line 13. Line 13 is when we started streaming.
Yeah, totally do that.
All right. So here you go, folks. This is on video, what you didn't see. Google's rolling out updated features for Google Photos on iOS, Android, and the web. Smart albums will now automatically create the best photos and videos into a smart album after an event or trip. Unlike the similar story function you may be thinking about, smart albums have a more traditional grid of photos with maps and locations laid out between. You'll get a notification when a new smart album is ready, and you can add maps, drop pins, and add captions to the new or old albums.
Microsoft's research division launched a new chatbot named Tay. Tay mimics the online chatting behavior of 18 to 24-year-olds, complete with emojis and banter. According to Microsoft researcher Kat London, Tay is, quote, designed to be entertainment. Tay can tell jokes, stories, play games, comment on photos, or read your horoscope. If you're interested in what conversation you can have, you can go over to tay.ai on Kik, GroupMe, or Twitter.
And Intel's 10K annual report filing with the US SEC indicates they're moving away from the tick-tock cycle of chip rollouts. If you don't know what that is, the tick is usually the smaller lithographic process. That's when you hear them say, we've gone from 22 nanometers to 14 nanometers. And the Tock is the upgraded microarchitecture. That's when they change the microarchitecture and they deliver better performance, but on the same lithographic process. Still 14 nanometers, but better. The new rhythm is going to be 3 parts: process, architecture, then optimization. And that has, in fact, happened with the 14 nanometer node that was used for Broadwell and Skylake and now for Kaby Lake. The next process will be 10 nanometer nodes expected in the second half of 2017. Now, competition-wise, there's wondering if Intel slowing down this procedure will mean they get passed for the first time. Intel's saying we're just not getting enough yields out of these smaller processes to keep going at the pace we were at. Global Foundries has yet to launch 14 nanometer parts into products, so they may stay on the Intel pace. But Ars Technica reports that IBM demonstrated a 7 nanometer chip, and TSMC may introduce a 7 nanometer chip in 2018, thanks to Skyboard 13 for submitting this on the subreddit.
Do I still get to do 13?
I mean, you could do it again if you want.
I'm going to do it. The video site Pornhub is partnering with Badoink VR to launch a new VR section on the Pornhub website. The site is offering free cardboard VR goggles to its users. There you go.
And this is why I was so distracted when you started talking about that story, because I realized right at that point that I wasn't streaming the video.
Oh, that's amazing.
You thought I was just uncomfortable with Pornhub, but it wasn't just that.
I like the idea that it's explicitly about video. And that reminded you to start video. I think.
Well, actually, it was someone in the chat room that said it.
Oh, okay.
Like, you're not streaming on YouTube. I think it was Beatmaster, maybe. I was like,
I've done similar things. So yeah, I will. From now on, I will make a point of annoying you every Wednesday anyway.
Yeah, just help me keep an eye out. I've only done it twice in 2.5 years, 2 years and 3 months. So hopefully, I won't do it again. But what do we got for titles?
Oh, that's some good ones. Buzz Daily Tech News Today Out Loud.
What's your favorite?
I like the second one, which is TikTok Intel ran out the clock.
That made Scott laugh. I'm in.
Choke.
You can go ahead and read more of them, but I'm just going to go with that one for now.
All right, and then there's nobody's going to miss the extra finger from TVZ Gone.
That one's pretty good.
All right, so back to the Wii jokes. Wii U stop production. Nintendo no. They added an extra letter between the D and the O in Nintendo's name. The record industry playing the same old song. I guess that's kind of like a Jeopardy question. Why didn't I get your mass social media post? I'm AI-in your context, like I-in.
Oh, that's like a Tay Allen Tay. Got it. Yeah.
It's pretty good, but it's long.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Porn VR should have seen that coming. I'll be in my VR bunk. Okay, this is kind of gross, but sort of funny. Danger VR may cause hairy palms.
Yeah.
Glad I'm going with TikTok. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you picked the right one.
Yeah, the rest, it might be a little too adult.
TikTok Intel ran out.
I'm amazed no one did a Kesha reference.
I know.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Intel saves $.
Oh, she got rid of that though.
Yeah, I know. She's had a hard time, poor thing.
Yeah, it's been that whole
With the alcohol and the pills.
No, not the alcohol and the pills, although that she's recovering from. I'm talking about her producer.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about her producer. Is she a total jerk?
Rape case, and they won't let her out of the contract. It's real bad. It's miserable. That whole thing is miserable.
Ugh. That just doesn't sound pleasant at all.
It's not.
I mean, I would like to ask someone who's in the industry, is that more often the case, or is that just kind of the rare, where you just have an incident that
Yeah, because you always hear rumors like that it's the casting couch and the whatever in Hollywood and the just like it's just nothing but the seedy underbelly constantly, and all we see is red carpet and glints. Glitz is the word I meant. And I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it's I mean, since we don't know, it's just imagination, so people can think whatever they want, but it can't all be TMZ all the time. It can't be, right?
Yeah, but see, every time I talk to someone in the industry, that's the only stories they have, right? Because those are the ones that people remember, the outrageous ones. No one remembers, we went to Olive Garden, had a nice dinner, talked about a new movie.
Yeah, but the only remembrance I have of my time when I worked at Chi-Chi's in high school was that our dishwasher, we had a dishwasher, his name was Angel, and he pooped in the beans once, and that's all anyone talks about.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait, is Angel a real person or no?
No, real guy. He pooped in the beans because he was upset. He was mad at management for something. I can't remember what the deal was.
Because Tom and I heard a similar story about a Taco Bell from a friend in email. So I'm wondering, is this just one of those urban legends that gets passed around?
No, this was actual dude who got arrested. They shut down the restaurant for actual week, while I worked there. It was bad. It was a rough 1987 or 8.
Huh. I wonder if that story that gets passed around is actually Chi-Chi's and not Taco. Not a fast food Mexican place.
Or it was a copycat crime.
It could have been. I don't know. But yeah, it was bad. And there's no Chi-Chi's anymore, so.
A celebration of food.
I remember one guy got so mad at his boss. He was from the Midwest. And during the winter, he rubbed Vaseline all over the windshield. You wouldn't be, the person driving home couldn't see, even if you used your wipers, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It's that's what if that guy got in an accident? You'd have been totally in prison.
Yeah. Man, we did all sorts of dumb things back then.
Although there was that funny story from Cleveland about that guy pooping on car hoods in that Cleveland neighborhood or something. Remember?
Now I feel like I'm on the morning stream.
Yeah, that's a total TMS story. Actually, we talked.
No, it's a perfectly the right thing to talk to Scott about. I don't mean to perpetuate your stereotype, Scott, but you do sort of enjoy those stories, don't you?
Well, they crack me up. I find it funny that anybody anywhere, let alone Cleveland, would ever do this to anyone's car. For whatever reason, it's that kind of behavior that.
They got a photo of the guy with his pants and squat, and he has that look turning around the deer in the headlights. I've been caught. I think a friend, when I posted that story on Facebook, a friend of mine commented on the story. It's no, those are his cars now.
Yeah. He gets to keep them. Territory. That's amazing. I just like the guy in the tree in Seattle. I'm fascinated by extreme human behavior. I don't know. I have a problem.
Well, and here's the thing about that. I think it is fascinating when people do things, and the guy in the tree for it's just very, very fascinating. But what happens, and I actually think the internet is making it less of an issue, even though it's shining a bright light on it, so it feels like it's worse, is that people misunderstand it, or they hear an exaggerated version of it that doesn't explain what's really going on sometimes, or it's just urban legend. It's not actually true. And that used to be the thing where it's you get those crazy stories on morning shows on radio, and it turned out half of them weren't true, or they were just totally exaggerated, or or worse, like just trumped up into something that was actually like a sad story that they were making into a funny story. I think that happens less now because we have so many people going, well, hold on a minute. That didn't happen at a Taco Bell. That happened at a Chi-Chi's, and I was there. Let me tell you, like it actually is causing us to understand like what are the actual aberrations and what are the things that didn't happen or actually are fairly normal. It's just maybe you didn't encounter it before, but they happen frequently.
Yeah. No,
so the guy in the tree, things like that have happened before, but they're pretty rare. Like that is a pretty unusual thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't a protester or nothing. Like I remember guys hanging up on trees to protest logging of like.
They know yet. I don't know. I think they know yet. It's interesting though. He's in Seattle, so maybe it's Pacific Northwest logging. But I don't think they know. He's come down and now they're talking to him and making sure he's okay. He was up there for 24 hours, like a whole day.
Yeah, it could have been a logging thing.
And it wasn't like a platform or a nice little hut up there. It's like just
right. Usually the people that go up to tree like to protest logging or environmental protests prepare themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna do any of that, and I probably won't be eating at Chi-Chi's ever again.
Don't ever.
I don't think you can. It's not around anymore, right?
They're gone.
But... Oh, are they?
Yeah, I saw some terrible things when I worked there. Some very terrible things.
Not Chili's. Are you thinking of Chili's, Roger? Chili's is still around.
Chi-Chi's.
No, Chi-Chi's gone.
Is it? Oh, yeah. Bankruptcy.
Yeah, they're out. Let's just say this, that if you, at the store we were at, if you brought your steak back because you didn't think it was well done enough, our guy on the grill would put it on the floor first and then cook it more.
What?
Yeah, it was bad. I'm not surprised they're gone. They should be gone. Like, there was bad stuff. And I remember going to somebody and saying, I don't want to, like, get beat up in the parking lot or something, so maybe keep this anonymous, but I watched so-and-so who was mad because the guy's steak was too rare, put it on the ground, flip it over and put it on the ground again, and then grill it, and then send it back. And they said, all right, let's see, we'll do something about it, and we'll keep you out of it. I said, okay, great. And the guy it was still there. He was, he worked there the entire time until I left. Like, it was weird. That was a bad place.
You know what? You don't do that to people's food ever. My parents have had super jerky customers. And no, you don't do that. I mean, you might charge them more or something just because they're being like overly excessive, especially when they bring in their own like steak or fish. Say, can you cook this? It's like, all right.
That's happened at your parents' restaurant?
Yeah. People bring they
go into a seafood restaurant, brought their own seafood.
Yes, that happens more often than you would think.
Wow.
But please put that sauce you guys use. Like, all right.
I could see that being a restaurant concept, right? Where like, hey, well, it's, BYOF or whatever. But I would never go into a restaurant that didn't advertise that as a service. That's crazy.
Well, Roger, when you say it happens more than you'd think, I would have thought one time would be more than I would think. Like, that's insane to me. That sounds crazy.
I mean, what sucks is then you gotta, unless they actually really good at filleting the fish, which sometimes they're not, you gotta make sure that you get the rest of the bones out because you don't want. Because if something happens to it, you're at fault.
Well, that's the other thing, right? You don't know how that fish was handled before it got to the restaurant.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would even that could violate health codes, couldn't it?
Generally, it only happens with. I'm not gonna go too far into it, but really good customers, I guess. So, but. Generally, there's an understanding. If this has red tide in it, not our fault.
Yeah.
I guess it's not too different from the oyster place up in Northern California where you can actually catch your own oysters and then they'll grill them for you.
I love oysters. I love clams even more.
Oh, gross. I hate both. But still, though, like the idea of, I don't know, bringing in your own stuff. I'm going to go to McDonald's today with a little patty of red meat and say, look, can you put this in a bun? And I'm like,
that's actually probably a good idea. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like just from like a crowd awareness, social responsibility position, it just is the strangest thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that? You know what they're there for. Make it at home, you lazy butt. If you're going to eat your own food, don't take it somewhere. That annoys me. It really annoys me. I have empathy for your parents, and I don't even know them. I have to have dealt with that even once. That's really annoying. Anyway.
Such is life.
Yeah.
Aye, it is.
Such is life.
Such is life. Well, shoot. SoundCloud is just not wanting to process the file today.
TMS was slow with that. It finally went through, but I had to keep hitting. Well, so here's what I did. I kept hitting save, and it would pop out as if it wasn't saved. Maybe that's doing that to you. I don't know. But when it finished and looked like it was done processing, but everything was sort of hanging there waiting for me to hit save again, it still didn't matter. It wouldn't do it. So what I did is when I went and checked the page, it had indeed posted. It just didn't do the album art. And so I edited the post, put album art in it, and otherwise everything was the same. Closed the page that was uploading. It said, "Are you sure you want to shut this down? There's still something going on." And I said, "Yes," and it all worked. So I don't know if that's what yours is doing or not, but it was being real fruity this morning, so maybe something's up.
No, I was able to save it. It's just not. It's just still processing. Forever.
It's related.
Forever processing. So much processing.
Actually, I haven't had any issues for a long time there, but today was weird.
Yeah, they must have.
The Germans.
Must be the Germans.
Yeah. You ever make your file be very slow?
Is that even German?
Django? I don't know. I'm terrible at German accent, but I like
Django's German.
Is she?
Well, she's a Rottweiler. That's a German breed, isn't it?
Yeah. It was Christoph Waltz talking to your dog, saying, "Django, we must leave this town now."
That makes me think of the Clash of Clans advertisement that played before Force Awakens.
Oh, right.
Oh, with what's his name? That
with
does
James
the
Corden and Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
And then that makes me think of Clash Royale,
which is really good, by the way.
which I've been playing way too much of.
Yeah, that game. What the crap? Why is
Are
that?
you in a clan?
No, there's an AIE one, and I thought about joining it, but I feel like I'm so bad I haven't joined anything yet.
I want to join a clan.
Maybe we should start our own clan.
I would like for someone to remember that episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where everyone on the crew gets really wrapped up in this weird VR game that they're so addicted to they can't do it.
The cones and the little frisbee things, yeah.
Like it's like a 25th century of putting the ball in the cup or whatever.
Right, and they get this little shiver of like
so
reward.
Someone should edit in Clash of Clans or something, or like Farmville or something. So it's like a little more exciting than watching discs go down a bunch of spiral cones or something.
Dumb episode, but the concept was pretty spot on, I think. I don't know. It was Ashley Judd, too, was the girl, by the way, in that episode. Her and Wesley getting all...
That was Ashley Judd? For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, one of her earliest roles. It's an interesting episode. Not recently. It's really poorly done, but it's... As usual, Star Trek can be really, really thoughtful and you know...
Execute poorly.
Yeah, and just don't have the budget or the time or the idea of how to best portray what they're trying to say, but the core idea is always kind of cool, no matter
Just
what.
don't show the game. Just don't show the game. You got people there with their eyeballs moving.
Yeah. You know what? That would have been better. Imagination would have been more important there.
But you ruined it by doing like really? This is the game that has everyone enraptured on a ship of what, 1,000 people?
Yeah. In the 23rd century, you got like Lawnmower Man graphic cone with a frisbee flying in it, and everyone going, it was terrible. It was terrible.
I didn't actually much care for their music either.
You know what? I'm a big Goldsmith fan, but only on the themes. I guess he didn't do all the interstitial stuff, though. I don't know. I don't like. I know what you're talking about. There's a thing in Star Trek where it's the same pattern of they'll start a scene with and then Picard going, "Captain's log, something something. There are 4 lights, right?" And then you go in and start talking and doing your thing. And then
Captain's log. There are still 4 lights.
To me, it's it's like the elevator music equivalent of mood music.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like there's nothing distinguishing about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean I understand budgets are tight and stuff, but they built a living room for the bridge of the Enterprise. I think you could have squeezed out a little more for a guy with a synth or maybe a couple of synths.
They were really sure that carpeted flooring, you know, and like carpeted walls and wood panels, they were sure that was going to be the...
Maybe it'll come back. You know, things do go in cycles.
I know they made it that way because it's easier to get all the angles and camera angles that you need to shoot on the bridge, and it's easier when you have all that space because the space isn't meant for the fictional crew; it's meant for the camera crew.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. It did pick up a little better, but Babylon 5 had really good music.
I agree.
They were on the tight budget too.
Also had really cool sets as well. I thought the sets hold up. Like you look at them now, and they still that kind of Battlestar Galactica modern
used kind of industrial feel.
And that seemed weird at the time, but I think it stood the test of time.
So what's amazing is they actually had very few sets. They just reused a lot of the wall panels, and you don't really notice it until like someone tells you, and you start trying to look for it. But it was like a really good show cranked out with, it wasn't their budget wasn't as big as definitely Star Trek in the third season and moving forward.
Their effects budget was garbage. It was a great show, man.
Yeah. I got used to the graphics.
Yeah, it was all right. It's the 90s. It's the 90s.
Yeah, well, once you get into the fight sequences, it was pretty cool. Yeah. You got to admit, you got like hundreds of ships flying around.
Everybody talks about new science fiction shows that deserve to be rebooted and put on TV and whatever. I could totally go for like a revitalization of that series. If it's in my hands, it'd be pretty neat.
The story arc was great. I really liked it. It's like wait, it's those guys. No, it's that guy. No, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been being played.
Yep. Love it. Also, one of my favorite pilots we watched on autopilot, Tom. I enjoyed that.
Oh, Babylon 5? Yeah.
Of all the pilots we did, it was one of my faves.
All right. Well, there you go. Bonus extra long video to make up for the fact that we shorted you at the beginning of the show. And if you really want everything from the beginning of the show, check out the audio file. Or you can actually download, if you have access to the treasure chest on Patreon, you can get the full pre and post show in audio format as well. Okay. I am going to log us off. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Thanks, everyone.